Are you living in your house now? Where is your genuine house after death? Is this house for the homeless or just a special place for Christians? Today's story about Adam J. who is seeking his house after her near-death experience. Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel, where people shared their extraordinary near-death experiences on the other side and came back to life. Now, just sit back, relax and let's dive in. In April 2010, I was sharing an apartment in Maidstone, England, with a person I believed was a friend. He had wormed his way into staying in my flat spare room, but I had no idea he wanted the entire flat to himself. After a probable murder attempt on me 2 months later, he would lock me out of my own home on my 25th birthday. It was the most magnificent flat I'd ever had, ranging from a big attic flat to a century-old house. The entrance to the flat was a winding stair that led up into the flat center beneath a massive stained glass skylight. It was both lovely and strange. A magnificent wooden balcony rail surrounded the stairs, with rooms flowing off in all directions. A bunch of my friends saw something on this balcony a few months before my event. They said it was the ghost of a man, almost like a shadow, walking along the balcony and collapsing in front of the living room. The funny thing is that this ghost appeared to be just like me. My neighbor hosted a party in April, which I attended. I left the party and returned to my apartment. I recall leaving the party and heading back, but my mind has blacked out entering my flat. My next recollection is standing at the top of the stairway, my wrist sliced open with a 3-inch long wound clear across my wrist, and cut so deep that the damage had gone through tendons to the bone. As I stumbled around the balcony, I observed my flatmate and his girlfriend sleeping on the living room floor. I yelled for assistance and collapsed just where my buddies had seen the ghost fall. My energy levels were rapidly dwindling. Fortunately, even though my flatmate and his girlfriend refused to go, I had 2 other friends living with me. My other buddy awoke to the sound of my cries for aid, discovered me on the floor bleeding profusely and yelled at me to wake up. My friend had no idea what to do, but he knew his girlfriend was trained in first aid. Until his lady awoke, my pal instinctively pushed both of his thumbs into my wrist to attempt to stop the bleeding. When his girlfriend noticed my injuries, she dashed to the kitchen for a tea towel, wrapped it over my wrist, lifted my arm, and instructed her partner to call an ambulance. When my friend returned, he attempted to awaken our other companion, who refused to wake up. My friend even scooped him up and deposited him where my flatmate was standing. He was still sleeping. This is one of several reasons why I now believe my flatmate attempted murder rather than suicide. While we waited for the paramedics, my friend stayed with me. They also accompanied me to the hospital. I saw a doctor in the emergency room. He was summoned away from his examination in the middle of it for an emergency chest operation to save someone's life. I was talking to my friend's girlfriend when I lost consciousness while he was away. It was such a soothing sensation, drifting away like that. My entire existence appeared to shift. The first thing I felt was an incredible sensation of serenity and relaxation. Every single unpleasant human emotion had suddenly vanished, leaving me feeling perfectly fantastic. Imagine your largest high, magnify it by 1,000, and you'll still be nowhere near this beautiful, safe sensation. After that, I saw myself in a blue tunnel. The color was an electric blue, comparable to what you'd get on many LED Christmas lights nowadays. It was a vibrant and beautiful color. I drifted smoothly and slowly down this tunnel, completely calm. I can even tell you how big the tunnel is. It had a diameter of 2,000 feet. Eventually, I could see a place in the distance that was a swarm of intense activity. The blue tunnel became the white tunnel at this moment, a very distinct shift. Because there was so much light coming from the white tunnel, it was hard to see into it. There was also a strong sense of love and quick understanding radiating from this source. You had a feeling. The blue tunnel could handle two-way traffic, but the white tunnel could only handle one-way traffic from the Earth plane. There was no turning back once you entered the white tunnel. The light from this tunnel was so bright that it would have blinded me in normal conditions, yet it felt warm, safe, and full of love here. The bustle became more visible as I approached the transition point between the blue and white tunnels. Many spirits could be seen on both sides of the changeover point. Many spirits were entering from the terrestrial plane, including me. All of these souls were met by groups of souls that had emerged from the white tunnel. Each spirit seemed to have its retinue of souls from the other side to meet them. Some were greeted with open arms and gently escorted past the crossing point and into the lovely light of the white tunnel, others were met with talks, and yet others were sent back toward the Earth plane. When I eventually arrived at the changeover, the first thing I did was take a thorough look around. This is how I learned about the length of the tunnel. This transition point, with all the souls entering and passing, was truly a sight to witness. It was a crowded and surprising spot. When I saw my retinue of spirits, I could see that they were human, yet they were creatures of light in this life. They appeared to be the same shade of electric blue as the first tunnel. I was received with much affection and haste. I was grasped, and I was instilled with understanding. This is not my time, I was informed, yet it was meant to be. It was the only way my life could change for the better. I was given so much information that it would ordinarily overflow in my mind, but I was assured that each piece of information would become available to me when I needed it. The information that was brought to my attention at that time, which I felt to the center of my being, time is an illusion produced by humans, it simply does not exist. From the opposite side, traveling to any point in time is as simple as crossing the street. It's difficult to put into words the sense of belonging that these individuals carried with them. I think I knew them all, although I'm not sure how because my time there was brief. I eventually had to say goodbye and was brought to my body so quickly that I awakened with a start, shocking the doctor and my pals. When I lost consciousness, it seemed that I had lost so much blood that my heart stopped pumping. My companions tracked down the doctor, who took one look at me and hit me in the ribs above my heart. This immediately took me back. This doctor subsequently informed me that he had worked in African conflict zones and was used to operating on patients with minimal equipment. This was good for me because I was still in the emergency hospital waiting for the area. When I returned, the first thing I checked was that my ring finger was still intact. I saw the doctor reassemble my wrist with great interest. He had to dig deep within my arm to recover a broken tendon and put it back together. At this moment, all I could think about was the scene in Terminator 2 where he removes the flesh from his hand to demonstrate that he is a robot. I eventually regained most of my hand's function. I can still only feel half of it since the other side has been entirely numb for years. Some tangled nerves have now grown back. If I touch the root of my thumb, I can feel it in my index finger. But I've learned to live with it and can still type and play the keyboard despite having just 7 of my 10 fingers and thumbs fully functional. I was informed I was medically dead for at least 30 minutes, which doesn't seem like a long time. Nonetheless, I had plenty of time to have my NDE, which seemed like hours at the time. I needed a long time to heal psychologically after going through so much. As a consequence, I lost my job, and 2 months later, on my 25th birthday, I returned home to find my flatmate had put a padlock on the outside of my door. "You don't live here anymore," he said. He wanted my flat and would go to any extent to acquire it. So I lost my job, became homeless, and was quite upset. Years later, I can appreciate the full thing. I would have worked myself to death on the route I was on. I'm 37 years old and preparing to launch my astrological firm, but it's taken years and years of soul searching to get here. I am even more spiritual than I used to be, with a firm belief in reincarnation and karma. The biggest difference today is that I have evidence of my views as well as proof of life on the other side as our actual home. I am not afraid of death. Death is merely a road to our true home, not the end. Thank you for watching this video. Kindly subscribe and turn on your notification to watch the latest video on our channel. God bless you all.